Welcome you all to the webinar on Visual Studio 2019 Enterprise version. I am Ashwin Kumar, software developer from Canarys Automation. Before getting into the details of the program and the technical content, let me brief who we are and what we do. We Canarys Automation having the history over 30 plus years and offers end-to-end solutions. And we are specialists in DevOps services too. And these are our services. Like we provide Azure DevOps consulting and Microsoft Dynamics as well. And we provide mobile application solutions, and we do provide cloud solutions, software solutions too. And also we are doing GitHub consulting as well and telemetry services. So these are our services. These are the awards and certificates from Microsoft. We are proud to say that we are the Microsoft Gold Partner in Azure DevOps, and also we are a Microsoft Qualified Fast Track Partner and GitHub Verified Partner too. We have the valuable recognition from Microsoft for DevOps services. We have been awarded 2014 Partner of the Year from Microsoft, and also the Microsoft Inspire for 2 consecutive years of 2017 and 2018. And we are the GitHub verified partner, and we are certified for TFS to Azure DevOps migration. And our journey with Microsoft spans over 15 plus years, and for Azure DevOps, Visual Studio, and Azure Consulting as well. We are providing our services to over 1,000 plus customers of Microsoft, covering entire North America, APAC, Europe, and many other regions too. These are the details about us that we are happy to share with you. We'll jump into the webinar now. What I am going to talk about today is what's new in Visual Studio 2019. There are a lot of new improvements that is made in 2019 version, a lot of useful versions and features too. We'll break down each features in this session. Myself, I'm Ashwin Kumar, the presenter of this webinar. We'll go into the topic. This is the agenda of topics that I'm going to cover today, like improved performance. There are more performance improvements that have been made in newer version, and improved search, formerly called as quick launch, is for searching improvements has been made. And IntelliCode, this is a AI assisted feature, and instant code cleanup or a single click code cleanup. IntelliTest is a testing feature, and code metrics is an overall health indicator. We'll break down each topics. First of all is performance. There are a lot of improvements that have been made in performance in the Visual Studio 19 version, like faster Visual Studio startup. Starting up Visual Studio in this Visual Studio 19 version is very much faster than the previous versions. Like it will be taking a few seconds to load, and also you can unload the projects to make it more easier to load it also. And the next one is faster branch switching. Like we are having the new option available in 19 is Stash. With this, the branch switching, if you're having master branch and dev branch, to switching between one branch to another branch is more easier and more faster in this newer version, and faster debug stepping. Debugging is now 50% more faster than the previous versions. They have been made a lot of improvements in debugging. For an example, if you have been debugging a larger C++ application, while debugging, if it is taking 2 GB RAM's memory in 2017 or the previous versions, but in Visual Studio 2019 version, it would take around 200 MB only. As you can see, there are a lot of MB saved by debugging in newer version. It's like over 202 GB is almost top to bottom, so it is more efficient. And also they have been used introduced some more new features in debugging, like search while debugging and pinnable debugging, etc. We'll move to the next topic. This is a start window of Visual Studio 19 version. As you can see, this is a complete reboot in Visual Studio 19 user interface. It is very simple and efficient UI design. As you can see here, it is very clean and clear, right? So not like more complex, a lot of options like the previous versions. It's very simple and efficient UI. Like here, you can have your recent projects here. Like the toggles are available like today, yesterday, and last week, last month. Likewise, you can categorize your work based on the timeline. And so it's easy to work on it to find this, what you have been worked on yesterday or today, something like that. And also here you can also find some more options like clone or checkout code. Like before, if you wanted to clone your GitHub repository or Azure DevOps Git repository, what you will do is you will open a project, you will go to the Team Explorer and clone your repository there. So you wanted to do all the steps to clone your repository. Whereas in the newer version, you don't need to go to the create a project and go to the Team Explorer, nothing. You can do it in a very start page itself. So in a start page itself, you can clone your repository by clicking on this option, and you want to give your clone URL. So then it will automatically checking out your code in the Visual Studio 19. And you can also have the simple options like open a project and creating a new project here. So quite easy to select all those things. Yeah, this is a window of creating a new project. So this also, as I said, the UI is more simple and efficient. There is a filters available for selecting in the language level and platform levels also, and the project types also. As you can see, everything you can select it more easily and easy to find also. So this is a startup window. Yeah. So the next one is improved search or quick search. Previously, we call it as a quick launch. In the 2017 or the previous versions, we call it as a quick launch. What are the improvements that is made in this version, this quick search? We'll see here, we have been using the new fuzzy search logic, which will find anything you need. Like kind of if you wanted to search commands, settings or documentation, anything you're looking for, you can straight away come here to the search option and you can search it. And one more improved feature, improved in this 2019 version is here it works in asynchronous manner. In the before versions, it won't work asynchronously. As you can see, whenever they have been clicking on each letter, it is still giving the suggestions and the result in a very much quicker manner. It is very asynchronous and faster also. So whenever the person is clicking on the theme, so as you can see, immediately you are getting in the seconds. It's not taking a long time to do. So these things, this performance or they have been improved here. And also you can search anything, like if you want to search in setting level, you can search it. If you want to search in a code wise, if you want to search some method, you can give a method name and it will find you the result. Or also like Visual Studio level also you can do it. And one more important thing, errors also it doesn't care. Like in the previous version, if you're doing any spell mistakes, it won't give you the right results. Whereas here, if you're doing any typo errors also, it doesn't catch and give you the right suggestions as well. Okay, we'll quick shift to the Visual Studio part and see the demo or Wanderer we have discussed right now. Yeah, this is a window of Visual Studio 2019. So as you can see, there is some lot of new changes has been made in this window. So the developer having lot of free space to work on here. So whereas in the before versions, it would be covering up to here. So now they have been given some more extra space to work here. And also you can find some of the difference in this newer version. You can find a new tab here called extension. In the previous versions, you can't find here. Why it is helpful, we'll see it. So in the before, if you want to install an extension from Visual Studio Marketplace, you will go to the Marketplace, Visual Studio Marketplace online, and what you will do, you will download that extension, and it will be downloaded in your system. From your system, you want to install it, and you need to install it in your project. So it's quite a long process if you want to do it before. But right now they have been given the extensions tab here itself. So if you want to download any extensions, you don't need to go to the Marketplace separately on the browser. Instead, you can have this option called Manage Extensions. Click on it. So here you get all the extensions here itself. You can download extensions from the Visual Studio Marketplace here itself. and manage the extensions here itself. So if I click on the installed one, so these are the extensions already installed. So if you want to install a new extensions, you can click on online, and right now it is loading, and it will give all the extensions that you want to download, and you can select that and download it easily. Okay, it is taking a bit of time. Yeah, these things you can manage with this extensions one. This is a new feature, and also as we discussed, this is a quick launch or a improved search. Before it is formerly called as quick launch, now it is a quick search or improved search. The shortcut for this key is Control Q. So straight away it will take us here. So if you're here, we having three tabs like all, code, and Visual Studio. If it is all, you can search anything in the code level or in a Visual Studio level. Or if you want to search particularly in code wise, so for an example, I am selecting code. So I want to get this method. I want to search for the method, but I don't know where it is. So now the name of the method is okay. The name of the class is IntelliTest. So now I'm just moving to somewhere else. So I want to search this particular class. So I don't know to search it manually. You want to search it where it is, so everything. So instead of that, what I'm just doing is I'm just giving it the class name here. So immediately it is giving me the suggestion, the class name. But double clicking on it, it will navigate to the particular class here. So it's quite easy to navigate on those things. And one more thing, if you wanted to search for an example, if you want to change the font size or color of this text, so how can we do that? We don't know how steps to change the font size and color, right? Normally what we'll do, you will go to tools, options, and select some of the things, but you just don't know where to go to change the font size and color. So in that way, what you can do, you can select Visual Studio and we can give just font. So immediately you can see it is giving you a suggestion with the change font color by double clicking on it. So immediately it will navigate you to the window, this options window. So you can select your font size and font text, whatever it may be. So it's quite easy. If it is like before, what you will do, you wanted to go to the browser and search for it. What are the steps to change the font color? Tools, options, those stuffs we will be preferring. But as for of now, we no need to do anything. Quite easily, you can search in quick and easy manner. And you can also search like documentation or files, text files, anything maybe you can search it from here itself. So this advantage of quick search. And the other important and the new interesting feature is live share. As you can find it, right? Live share is a collaboration feature. In the case if you're a developer, you are writing a code, you have been stuck in the middle, you are having any issue in the middle, you hardly want your colleagues' help to solve that issue, right? So what you will do, you will use the third-party application like TeamViewer, or you will connect with the Skype and share your screen and give him access, and that person will refer your code and he will give you a solution, right? So instead of doing connect with a TeamViewer or other things, we can collaborate within Visual Studio itself. I think it's no need to install a separate extensions and go with the other sharing collaboration softwares. So instead you can click on it. So if you wanted to share with your colleague, you can select it. So then it will be sharing. So the other your colleague also needed to install the Visual Studio 19. So he can give your collaboration link. So he can use it in his Visual Studio 19, and he can collaborate in your machine also. So both of your colleague and you can work on the same project. So it may be in remote or something. It's quite easy to do that. So as far of now sharing, so after it is shared, so the other person whom you wanted to can also access your project. So these are some of the cool features in Visual Studio 19. So as you can see, immediately it has been changed as sharing. So you can copy the link and send to your partner or the colleague. So he can give this link and he can participate or collaborate in your project. So as far of now, I don't want to show more in this. Yeah, we'll go back to the presentation and see what are the other new features that is available. These are some of the cool features that is in Visual Studio. Yeah. We saw about improved search now. Yeah. The next one is IntelliCode. IntelliCode is a set of AI assisted capabilities that improves the developer productivity. Like this is a AI assisted feature that is also like IntelliSense. We'll discuss it. Yeah. So as you can see, this is called IntelliSense. It is coming with a star icon. So it is also like IntelliSense only. If the person already having awareness on Visual Studio, know about IntelliSense. IntelliSense is nothing but the suggestion box. It will suggest you some of the bit of code when you are. It will help you to code, help you while coding. So it will help you with a bit of code while you are writing a code, right? If you say, as you can see it, right? So it is giving me a suggestion box here. This is IntelliSense, but IntelliCode comes with the star icon at the top of the suggestion box. So what it will do, it will suggest you with the AI trained suggestions. So it is not like IntelliSense. It is also like it will use this artificial intelligence to analyze your code, and it will give the suggestions according to the scenario where you are using a code. We'll see more on the demo part, and it enhances the software development efforts using artificial intelligence. And to train this artificial intelligence, Microsoft has been trained this IntelliCode AI around 2000 open source projects on GitHub, each over 100 stars to generate its recommendations. So they have been like they have been selected, trained across 2000 open source projects. So when you are using some scenarios, it will suggest you the recommendations based on the scenario where you are using the code. For example, if you are using inside the for loop, the suggestion will be different. If inside the conditions, it will be different. Likewise, in a different scenarios, it will gives you the suggestions. We'll see more on the demo. We'll switch back to the Visual Studio and see the demo on IntelliCode. Yeah. Here we'll show you an example. Yeah. Here you can see the string called simple string called example. So here I hang the string called IntelliCode example. So now I'm just wanted to replace A to D, D to C, and some more replace things here. So I'm just doing it right now. So we'll see how IntelliCode will help us to do this. So now again, I've just already replaced two characters. Now again, replacing another one character. So if I give example dot, so immediately it is giving me the suggestion as replace. As you can see, if you are already used IntelliSense, it won't give you with the star icon here. So it will give you like this. So if you wanted to find a replace, so you wanted to search it here down there, replace, where it is replace, yeah, here it is. You want to select and you want to find it. So it won't suggest you at the top of the suggestion box like this. So likewise, I can replace T with Z. So likewise, this AI helps me to make this IntelliSense suggestions top of the suggestion box. One more time, I'll just give here example. At once, if I give on dot, immediately it is giving me the replace as an example. So likewise, it is while coding, it is easy for me to do that. So the logic behind is this: when the developer writing this example dot, so my AI, my artificial intelligence, has been analyzing the code which I have been previously using. So as you know, previously I am continuously using dot replace often. So my artificial intelligence, IntelliCode artificial intelligence, thinking that the user or the developer who is writing this code wants to replace at the top. So it is suggesting me and recommending replace at the top of the code suggestion box. So that is how it works. We'll see one more example on this. The same example string I am taking here. So instead of replace, I am using the tool over here, right here. Say here I am having the three simple variables. So here I'm just continuously, I'm just making it as tool over. So we'll see again, I'm just creating one more variable here. Z equal to the same example dot I'm just going to use here and see what suggestion or recommendation it is going to give it right here. If I give dot, so as you can see at top, if I give example dot, it is giving me replace. example dot, it is giving me the replace. The same example string, if I give it here, it is giving me the to lower suggestion. According to the scenario where it is using, so it is analyzing the previous code also, previous things, whatever I'm just previously frequently using. It is referring that also, and it is giving me the suggestions in a similar way. So that is how the my IntelliCode AI comes in the picture. So like if you wanted to like if I wanted to give 10 or 15 variables to lower, so I no need to search for to lower at in the suggestion box, and to do that instead it will recommend you at the top of the page itself. We'll see some more example. Yeah, here one more useful example is that. I hope you can find this line 85. So here I have initialized the simple string with the type of a simple list with the type of string. You can see it's a simple list here. So here the list name is test list. So I want to add some string inside this list. OK, so what I'm just doing is I'm just giving a test list dot. If I give dot, immediately it is giving me the suggestion as add. OK, so right back here I can directly give it easily, like whatever I wanted to give it, like Ashwin or something. I can straight away I can add it here. Okay, what if you are adding this? What if you are using this test list inside the for loop? What may be the suggestion? So now I'm just adding it outside the loop or something. So it is giving me the suggestion as add. So we'll see what it may be if we are adding inside the loop. So here itself I'll create a new for loop. So here I'm just giving a b equal to 0. So b less than or equal to. Now I wanted to iterate this test list. So I'm just doing as test list. At once if I click on dot, you can see immediately it is giving me the suggestion as count and contains, not add or any other thing. You can get it right. The same thing if I give it here test list dot, it is me suggesting me add. If I am giving it inside the for loop, it has been suggesting me count and contains. So according to the scenario where you are using, so it will suggest you and recommend you the respective thing, respective recommendations that you want to do. So that is a advantage and the efficiency and usefulness of this IntelliCode. So likewise you can easily use here. So this is some of the example. You can do it like more different ways also. It is IntelliCode will be helpful. Like for an example, if you wanted to send a parameter, if you want to set a parameter, you can give it will automatically gives you the right result as well. Control, you can to enable IntelliCode here instead of dot, can give control space. So immediately it will give you a suggestion. So of now it takes a bit of time to load it. So yeah, as you can see, immediately it is giving the suggestions of the strings here, not the int and all. So as you can see, this method is actually expecting a string result, I mean string parameter. So immediately if I come here and give on control and space tab, and immediately it is been coming here. Right, so it has been giving me the suggestions with all the things here. So whatever you are created at last, it will give here. You can directly give it here. Or else if you are using IntelliSense, it won't give you the right results. Like it will gives you all the suggestions. You want to search the way all the here. Normal IntelliSense will be like this. You want to search all the way down there and give that one. It's quite easy in many ways, IntelliCode. And also this IntelliCode is only available with the system C# libraries only in C# libraries. If you wanted to in some case, so here you can see that I am having the simple class called employee info. So I'm having the two properties here, like first name and or last name only. So I want to use this for an example. I'm just using an object here with the employee info. So if I give that b3 dot, immediately normally it is giving the IntelliSense suggestions, but now I wanted to have the IntelliCode suggestion also. So what can I do? So to do that, we can also enable custom IntelliCode for custom libraries also. So to enable that, you want to do some set of things. You can go to the view and other window and IntelliCode model management. The IntelliCode model management will be opened. So here you can click on create new model. At once, if you click on create new model, what this will do is this will train across all your classes, whichever the classes you are having in your project. It will train all your classes and it will be ready for the IntelliCode one things. So whenever you have been enabled this, you want to click here and create it. So as for time being, I'm not creating it. You can create and see. So after it is creating, after it is created, it will be like trained for your projects. So then at once, if you click on B3 dot, it will give the suggestion as first name or last name with the star symbol here. So likewise, we can do it more efficiently, do code more efficiently and faster way with the IntelliCode. Okay. At first, if the IntelliCode is not available in your system defaultly, so normally it is enabled. I enable the IntelliCode, so it has been showing all my suggestions like this. So if normally for you, some of the people it won't be available. So to do that, so you can go to the tools, options. Here you may find here you can type IntelliCode. So here you can see the IntelliCode things. So if you didn't know the steps, you can, as previously we told, we can come to the quick search and search IntelliCode, and this will navigate to here. Enable the required things, enable the every required things that you want, like C#, argument, everything, and close it. And then you can able to use the IntelliCode feature as well. With this IntelliCode feature, we can do many more faster code in a faster way and efficient way. Okay, we'll go back to the slides and discuss about other features too. So the next one is a code cleanup or the single click code cleanup. So this Visual Studio provides us a instant code cleanup feature where we can clean our code like unused variables, unused usings, and explicit variables, etc. Like for an example, if you are after completing the code in your project, you will get a lot of warnings, suggestions, etc. Right? So that needs to be clear. It's a right practice to make your project without any warnings and suggestions. So what you will do, you will go to the, if you find any warnings, you go to the particular line and you will clear that. If it is unused variable, you will remove that unused variables, right? So what if you are having thousands of variables, unused variables? You want to clear everything manually, right? So it's it would take, it is almost impossible to do that manually. It will take a lot of time. So instead here, within a one click, you can clean the whole project. So you no need to do it manually once after others, everything. So this works like the code cleanup format, the code that applied the code fixes like based on your current settings, current C# settings, or your .editor config files. It fixes in the same way. So as you can see this window, right? This pop-up is for the code cleanup window. So here you can see profile 1, profile 2. We can configure with two profiles. If you are using for two different projects, we can use for one project you can use this one profile, and for another project you can use profile 2. So we can do more in this. It will make more easier for the users to clear the warnings and suggestions as well. Yeah, we'll go back to the Visual Studio and see the demo for code cleanup. Okay. As I come to this method, here you can see some of the variables I have declared here. So in this variable is here I'm just declared int of 0. So here I'm just giving a string, and here it is float or double, or here it is a boolean. So I know what I'm just using here. For an example, I know I'm just using true here, but so I can put it as bool here. Instead of bool, I'm just using the var. So it is not good practice, right? I know the data type which I'm using. So by knowing that it is a bool, I'm not using bool. Instead of that, I'm just using var. So this is a warning. Like if you go on, this is called refactoring. So I know if you have in the Visual Studio experience before, you know about refactoring. Refactoring is kind of, it will helps you in code in the middle. So it will gives you if there is any suggestions, it will give you here. So you can click the bulb icon here, or else you can click control dot. It is giving us a suggestion. We'll see what is the suggestions saying that. So you can see that represent a boolean control dot. If you give the console dot, it is telling that we can change var to boolean. So you can click on it. So it will fix our warning or a suggestion like this. So in the similar way for here also I want to change it control dot. I want to change it here. The same thing here at the string I want to change it. Again I'm just giving it control dot. Here it is giving a suggestion to string. So give it the similar way. I'm just doing it for all these four. So here I just do it manually by clicking on control dot or clicking on this bulb option refactoring. What if we are having thousands of variables like this? We can't do it manually, right? So here we find it only 4, so we do it manually. So to do that, this single click code cleanup will be helpful. We'll see some more example. I'll just revert it as like before. We'll see some more example and come back here. Yeah, here there is a method called unused variable. As you can see, I have just declared 5 different variables, string variables, but I didn't have used it anywhere. I just declared this A, B, C, D, and E, but I didn't have used it anywhere. So as you can see here, it is a warning. Greet sprinkling line is there. So I'm just hovering it. So here you can see it. The variable A is declared but never used. So this is anyhow after completing your project, but you have been declared but never used. What is the use of this string? So I want to remove this. So if I give control dot, I can remove it. These fixes we can do it manually. So the similar way, if you are having thousands of variables like this unused variables, how can we clear it each manually? So we can't do that, right? So to do that, so we are using instead code cleanup or single click code cleanup. The icon of code cleanup is available at the bottom. So here you can see it, right? The brush symbol. So this is a icon of code cleanup. By clicking on this, this will make all the changes here, and it will fix all over the document. And here you can you have the option of drop down options available. Just click on it. Here, as I said, there are 2 profiles available. We can configure 2 profiles with different fixes. We'll configure and see that. By clicking on the configure code cleanup, it will open my code cleanup window. So as I said, there is a 2 profiles here. In one profile, I'm having 2 fixes, and the second profile, I'm having 3 fixes. Okay, how it works? Normally, so if you here, we are doing it manually, right? By control dot, and if there is any fixes, we are fixing it, right? Instead of the suggestions, we can configure this fixes here itself. Like as far of now, what I did. So as we said here, there are some unused variables, right? So by clicking on this code cleanup button, so it needs to remove all the unused variables, which is I declared here, and also apply. I just have one more fixes. Apply implicit explicit type preferences. So instead of this variables, I want to make this as explicit types. So this should automatically change to Boolean, float, double, everything likewise. So I'm just adding it. I'm just configuring these fixes here. So to add, you can configure with other fixes according to your use also. Now, if you want to fix your cast issues, unnecessary cast, everything, you can select it. To add it and remove it also quite easy. You can find the options for buttons with down and up arrow. I think you guessed it. Up for adding it. If you want to remove it also, it's quite easy. Select it and down arrow, it will be removed. So in the same way, they provided 2 profiles. Like if you're using for multiple projects, in one project you only wanted to remove unused variables, so you can have only unused variables. In another one project, in another project you wanted to remove unused variables also and unused usings also, like SPCL also. You can configure like this. So while running it, you can select any one of the profile, and that will clean in the similar way you have been configured in the code cleanup. Okay, we'll quick see the demo and see how it works. As I said, now I am just going to add profile 2, because here I just added here we have been added 5. Let's see one more time which we have been configured. Yeah, if I click on profile 1, it should remove the SP set and the unused variables, and if I click on profile 2, it should sort the using also, unused using also. It wanted to remove it. We'll see that quickly. So I'll click this one and click on profile 1. Immediately you can see this unused variables has been removed or cleared, and you can see the preferences. You can see it has been the variable to the explicit variables, and then the reverting back. So you can click this button or you can select a particular thing. So now if I wanted to select the profile 2, now I'm in other project. I wanted to clear. I want to clear this unused variables, not this one, but I want to remove this usings. So how can I use this? So I can select here and click on profile 2. So immediately you can see unused variable is cleared, and this usings is declared but I never used, so that is also removed. So that is how you can use instant code cleanup. So here you can also use shortcut. Shortcut is Control K, Control E, as I give it here, right? So you can give Control K and Control E. So immediately the same results will make it as a default profile. Default profile is 1, profile 1. So it will change when you are using shortcut or something. So it will make the changes as per the profile 1. And you can, this is for document level. You can do it in the project level also. To do that project level, come to the Solution Explorer at the right side. Select any of your project, right click on it. Here you can find the option called Analyze and Code Cleanup. Select it. Here you can have this option, the same option like profile and profile 2. You can configure and do that. So that if you wanted to clear your whole project, you can straight away come to this project and do this, and it will clean the suggestions, warnings, and other stuff for you. So it is easy for you. It will be like it saves us a lot of time to do that manually, and it makes our code so clear and more maintainable. So this advantage of this instant code cleanup. We'll go back to the slide and discuss about other topics as well. Yeah, as I discussed, this code cleanup it fixes according to the current settings of C# settings you will be having, right? Like warnings and suggestions, you will be default it is available. According to that settings, it will fix, and also, or else you may have the external .editor config also. With both of them, it will fix in that way. Yeah, we'll go back or go to the next topic. Yeah. Next topic is also one of the useful feature in Visual Studio 19 and Visual Studio. It is a testing one. You can do testing in Visual Studio 2019 like unit testing, internet test, live unit testing, etc. So like you no need to go for the other testing tools also. So you can also you can create a unit test project and write a unit test code with the test scenarios, and you can run it. And also the internet test is like automatically gives you the unit test, and live unit testing you can test with while debugging also. So those are the testing features that is available in Visual Studio features, and enterprise only. Most of them are available only in enterprise version. Okay, we'll see that. Yeah. IntelliTest. IntelliTest is one of the testing feature that is available in Visual Studio. It is one of the most efficient and useful feature used for the testing purposes. This is only available in enterprise version only. This actually what it will do is it will generate it will generate a IntelliTest project for you with the IntelliTest project with the unit test code. So for if you create a unit tester, you want to write a unit test code with the proper testing scenarios, whatever you have been testing for. But whereas IntelliTest, you no need to create, yeah, you no need to write any single code also. So if you create IntelliTest, it will read your whole method, everything, and it will generate by looking at your logic in your method and generate a test for each logic branch. For every conditional branching code, a case analysis is performed, and it is like every if statement, assertion, operations, exceptions are also been analyzed, and these analyzed that makes to generate a test for us on our own automatically without writing a single testing code. So we'll see how where it is helpful, this IntelliCode. We'll come to the real-time scenario. The developer writes a code and completes writing a code and send to the testing team. And the testing team will run the test with all the testing scenarios. And if if they find any bug or issues, they will get back to the developer again, stating that there is a bug or issue. Please rework on that. So if there is any issue, again the developer have to rework on that. Okay, this is used in most of the places, and it is vastly using here this procedure only. But what is the problem with this process was it will takes a lot of time. Like how it is a huge time consuming also. Like the developer have to finish the code and send back to the team, and they will test it, and if there is any issue, they will revert back, and again they will be sent. It's a quite a long process, right? So instead of doing that, what if the developer itself testing his code instead of sending it to the testing team? So after writing the code itself, the developer can use the unit test and test his code. And if there is any issue or bug, he can find it immediately in the earlier stage itself, so that he can clear it at the same time. You don't need to rework on that again on the whole process. At once, if you finish that, he can run the unit testing project and he can get that right. So what is the advantage of being developer itself running the code with Visual Studio 19? So that will reduce a lot of time, easy to identify bugs, and issues will be identified and will be solved in the earlier stages itself. So that's where we can use Visual Studio 2019 unit testing and IntelliTest for developer itself. He itself, after writing a code, he can quick testing his code, and he can have the better understanding about his code. By using test project in Visual Studio, we can do it in various methods like unit testing. So unit testing is you can create a unit test project in Visual Studio. In your project, you want to create one more project in your solution file, and there you want to write a unit test code. So if you are having a method, those logic according to the method, you want to write a test scenario with a unit test code. And if you run this code, it will gives you, like for an example, here you can see the bottom right. So the green tick mark is the past test cases, and which is coming with a red wrong option, like red with a wrong option is like kind of it is wrong, or it is giving any exception. It is failed test cases. So likewise, we'll come to know at the earlier stage itself. It will give once if he runs his code after writing a unit test code, it will give his if there is any exception, it will if the test case will fail, and if everything is proper and passed, it will give like green option. This unit testing and IntelliTest a similar way as unit testing, but you no need to write a single code also. So you can, but unit testing you want to write according to your method or code, but your IntelliTest will automatically reads your method or code, whatever you have been written, all your conditions, all your assertions, if statements, everything, and it will itself generate a unit test code for us. No need to write anything, and only thing you want to do is create a IntelliTest and run the IntelliTest. You can see it right here, right? Run IntelliTest. You can create and run IntelliTest. It will gives you all the test cases. It will analyze your code, and if there is any past test cases, it will give you. If there is any exception, it will give you a failed test. We'll go back to the Visual Studio and see the quick demo on this. Okay. Yeah, here I am having the simple method. So here I wanted to I just written this method. So I wanted to test it before sending it to the testing team, or before I'm just running this project, or I'm just publishing to the live. I want to test it whether if there is any exception or not. So first of all, I just tell you the how to do it with a unit testing, and then I'll go for the IntelliTest test. So to do unit testing, you can click anywhere here or the method name and right click on it. It will gives you this options, lot of options. So here you are having the option called create unit test. Click on it. So this is also in Visual Studio 2019, they make more easier to use it. So in the before versions, what you want to do, if you want to create a unit test project, you wanted to go to that unit test to the solution file, create a new project, and you want to do that. So instead, you can do it from the class file itself, anywhere, wherever your code is there, you can right click on it and immediately you can create a project more easily. Yeah, by clicking on the create unit test, this window opens. And here you can select your test frameworks. So defaultly the MS test is available. You can select MS test, or if you are using if you're a person you're using NUnit test or XUnit test, and you can download that package from unit. I mean, you get packages and you can use it here. And test project, it is asking you want to create as a new project or you want to share in a previous project itself. So in my case, I already already have some projects. So it is asking you want to share the projects or you want to create a new project. By clicking on a new project, it will create this testing project separately, not with the sharing projects. And this naming. So what you wanted to name your testing project. So this will be like your project name. What is my project name? If my project name is Visual Studio Demo, it will come with Visual Studio Demo Test. It will add that test also here. And also same way namespaces. It will take this namespace, whatever we have been given here. Here you can see Visual Studio Demo.models. So here it will be like Visual Studio Demo.models.unit test creation, likewise. So you can do anything, you can create it also. So others don't change anything, let it be. And click on OK, and it will create you the unit test project. For a time being, I'm not creating it. I already created that. I'll show you. So my unit test project is right here. As you can see it right here, I guess so. Unit test class. Yeah. At once if you click on create project, it will generate a basic code like this, basic pro class like this with the test class, everything. So here what you want to do is, here is inside this method, it is nothing is there. So here in this class we are having 3 methods. So it is showing all these 3 methods. For this method, I wanted to write some unit test cases. So what I can do is I want to write code here. So I already write a code, simple code here. So I'm just pasting it right here. So likewise, how it does is here I'm just returning some test scenarios. Like this employee info, first name is some name. If this is true, if it is true, then this test case will be passed. If this is false, then it would be failed. So that is how we can create unit test here. So this is a simple unit test code. So I'm returning. I have written. So what I did was for this employee info, I'm just inserting first name dot Ashwin. So if it is not empty or something, if it is true, so I'm just checking it here. If result is true, then this will be passed. This will be a past test cases. If here I'm just giving it as assert dot is true. So we can have this assert is the unit test packages. You can use it for others also. If I give assert dot, okay, assert dot, it will gives you a lot of suggestions. You can test with various way. If it is or equal or is false, if it is null. So likewise in a various way you can test this. And right for of now, I'm just testing it. If it is true, if this result is true, I'm just making it as this test case is true, or else it is false. Others are defaultly it has been failed. So we'll see how to run this. To run this unit test case, unit test project, you can see the test tab available at the top of the Visual Studio. Select it and click on run all test. At once, if you click on run all test, and test explorer will be opened. Yeah, it opened, and yeah, you can see it, right? It will load the test case for us. As for us, this is our test case, unit test case. So everything is failed as far of now. This is not true. So if you have given it as false, this will give you true. So as you can see here, it has been giving it in this project. In this project, it is everything is passed, but in this project, it has been failed. Likewise, we can test our project before writing it in our before sending it to our testing team, or before publishing it to the live environment, something like that. So this is for unit test. So we'll see more on intelli test. Unit test, I show you how to do that. We'll see more on intelli test now. Yeah, we'll come back to the intelli test class again. We'll come back to the previous page which we have been discussed. So as I said, this is a simple method I have created. It's very much simple. So what I'm having is I'm having 3 parameters, 2 int and 1 employee info class parameter object. So here what I did was I have made some exception that have to be arised in runtime. So as far of now, there is no compile time exceptions. As you can see, there is no respectively lines here. But if I run it, so I may get some exceptions. Like as you can see, intentionally I made some exceptions. Like I'm just making int a by b. So if it is like if it is 1 by 0, that would be a divided by 0 exception. So that there may be an exception. So here it may be a divided by exception will be arising. And the next one here I'm just initialized array of index 4. So but maximum index is 4. But as you can see here, I'm just adding the size as 10. As you can see this here also the exception will be arised, like index out of mode exception. And one more thing is here this object I'm just using. So here it may be a null also, right? So here also there may be an exception. So to check that, if it is, we'll think about that. If it is a real-time scenario, if the person want to do that manually, how hard to do that? So if you want to do that, if you want to check where if there is any exception or not, he wanted to run this application and to click on to the particular tab or something to the page and to come to the particular method, and here only he'll get the exception. Correct. So until then he don't know whether there is here it is any exception is arising or not. So before itself, if we are creating any testing project and test it before itself, we know if there is any exceptions it is arising, so that we can write in that way. We can clear it immediately before publishing, before running the tool itself. That would gives us saves us a lot of time. We'll see how to create intelli test in a similar way as like unit test. Click on method level. You can also create intelli test in method level, whereas in unit test you cannot create method level. You can create in class level also, class level only. Whereas in method level we can use it in intelli test. The same way, right click on it. Here instead of unit test, click on intelli test and create intelli test. So the similar way, select everything as same as like that. So here I'm just changing the project name alone, like test demo vs. Test 1 test demo vs. So this is what this is a project name that I'm going to create. We'll see where it is creating. So if I click on OK, so it is creating. So after creating, you can find the project here in the Solution Explorer. So we'll wait for a couple of seconds for a creation. Yeah, you can see it. Our the project that unit test project is created, unit test project. So this is a project name that we haven't given, right? So unit test 1.demo.vs. So I'm just going inside this class file. As you can see, I didn't have entered any class file, but it itself have been generated some unit test code defaultly. Automatically, it is there generated automatically. For us, if it is like Intel, I mean, if it is in unit test, we want to write the unit test code directly. But here it will read all our method, whatever the I showed here, right? Whatever the code I have written here, it will analyze all this code, all these conditions, all these loops, everything, and then it is and then it creates us this test project for us. Man, there is some difference with unit test and Intel test. In unit test, there may be a test method. Here it is a PES method. So the library may be different. And we'll see how to run this. So here, right click on it. Here you can find a Intel test similar way. If you select Intel test, here you can find the option called run Intel test. Not, you know, it is not asking create Intel test because it is already created. So just click on run Intel test. This will this will open Intel test result window, and it will take a couple of time to make all the results, test results. It's loading. As you can see, I have 4 failed cases and only 1 passed test cases. So that means I wanted to have notice on this method and to rework on that. We'll go back to this and I'll show you what is the error. One second, it is here, yeah. Okay. Yeah, here there is divided by zero exception, as I already told you. So it is arising here A by B. So if you wanted to track trace also, it is available here. So you can see the details here, why it is failed. By clicking on stack trace, which line, everything you will be getting here. And the next exception is null reference exception. Select this null reference exception is coming for this employee info object. So why? Because you are using obj.firstname. So if it is null, there may be an exception. So it is like this. And this is a past. So if it is having any data, so it would be taking it as successful. And another one is index out of bound, out of range exception. As I already told you, it is for this array size. So see, I didn't write a single line of unit test code. So I just created the Intel test and I just run it. You can see, right? It's quite easy to create and run it. I didn't done anything apart from the creating and running. So now it gives all the results. I no need for the developer to test it and come back again. So all this small testing you can do it from by yourself. So it makes a lot of difference in productivity. So that is a helpful thing that in unit test, Intel test, and also you're also unit testing and Intel test, and one more thing is available like live unit testing. That will be helpful while you are debugging itself. You will come to know whether there is exception or not. As for of now, I just given you an intro only of live unit testing. Okay, we'll go back to the slide and we'll see the other feature also. So this is about Intel test that would be really helpful for you if you are using it. So this is only available in enterprise version as well. Yeah. The next one is code metrics. Code metrics is nothing but overall health indicator. To view the overall health of the code with a calculated code metrics feature, we can use it. Like we can see after the project is created, the developer must know whether it is maintainable or not, right? Like in a modern day, the complexity is increased in our modern software apps, and also it increases the difficulty of metrics. As a set of software measures provide developers better insights into the code they are developing. Right, in the modern way, the developers after creating the project, they wanted to know whether if the code that they have been written is maintainable or not. So if the other developer wants to work on the project, he needs to be understand it clearly. It's not to be more complex and less maintainability. Right. If there is more complex to maintain and manageable is more difficult. So to how can we find that whether it is manageable or not? We can't check it manually, right? To manually, if we want to check in a large projects, it is almost impossible. So you want to see each line whether it is manageable or not, everything. So instead of that, after creating a project, if you click on calculate code metrics, if you use calculate code metrics feature, so that will give you all the all the overall health of the project. As you can see, if it is a health is good, it will give it a green circle here. If it is bad, it will give you with a red color. You want to work on that, something like that. It will indicate a danger or the successful thing likewise. So the developer can understand which types of method they want to work to more throughout tested. We can generate code metrics data, measures complexity and maintainability of their managed code, can generate for entire solution or a project. We can also generate this for a whole project or for the solution as well. We'll see how to use that and make benefited with this feature. Yeah. So now, as I told before, I have created this project. I have in the solution file, as you can see, I have a lot of project here. So after creating here, I don't know whether my project is maintainable and less complexity. So then only the other developer who is using our project can easily. That is a good practice. Less complexity. So to do that, how can we know the overall health? So we can go to the analyze tab here. You can find it the top of your Visual Studio and select calculate code metrics. So here if you click on analyze code metrics, here there are two options are available. So you can have the overall health for the project as well as solution also. Project, it will only state only for it will give a report of only the one project that you have selected. As far of now, I selected this one. It gives only this project reports. If you're giving solution, it will gives you all the project reports. And now I'll show you how to create project. Select it and you can see only one project is there. Inside this project, namespaces and methods are there. So this is how you can use for project level. We'll show it for solution level. The similar way, if you give for solutions, so as you can see, all projects has been loaded and it gives the value here itself everywhere. So it as you can see, this is a indicator. It is green means it is okay, it is healthy. If it is red means it is danger one. So we'll see. We'll check how to do that. We'll check one of our method and classes and see the health. So as far of now, I'm selecting this project, Visual Studio demo project. So inside this, I'm selecting this namespace. As you can see the hierarchy here. So it is if I close this is a project level health. As you can see, maintainable index is 78,415 likewise. I'll tell you what and all this later. As far of now, you can see it's the project level count. Here there is a drop down, right? If you expand that, you can see the namespaces level. So inside this namespaces, inside this project, you can see a lot of namespaces here. Namespaces, interfaces, other things and all this there. So it will be like toggled with the namespaces. You can also see the overall namespace counts, like whether it is maintainable, complexity, everything. And if I want this namespace to be filtered, if I click on that, again you can see these are the classes inside this namespaces. again expand it, and these are the methods. So you can see the entire hierarchy also: method, class, namespace, and the project level hierarchy also. So if you see, if I now I'm just seeing the I'll just show you the method level hierarchy. This is a method inside this class. So here you can see some of the options like tabs like maintainability index, code complexity, cyclomatic complexity, depth of inheritance, class coupling, lines of code, and lines of executable. We'll break each one and what it deals with. First of all is maintainability index. Maintainability index is that indicates how easy it should be understand and modify the code. As I said you before, how easy we can identify it easily. What and all the flow is, and also to modify it, it should be easy, and also understanding and modify should be easy. That is what it comes under maintainability. And also the maintainability index metrics can be used as an overall quality indicator because it also takes this cyclomatic complex and other things as well. So if it is any complexity also, it takes this also considered. So this will be the overall health indicator, like for the whole options here. Overall quality indicator, and the index will calculate with a combination of cyclomatic complex. With the cyclomatic complex, it will calculate this numbers. We'll see what this numbers deals with this health of the method. Actually, if this number is 20 to 100, then it is good. Your project, your method is good. As far of now, I am in method. If it is a project, it for a namespace server, it is 80. So if it is greater than 20 and it is 20 to 100, it is good. And if it is 10 to 19, if the number is 10 to 19, then it is a moderate one. So and if it is 0 to 9, then it will be low maintainability. So definitely the developer have to rework on that. They want to consider this as a to-do list, and they want to work on this. And this is what that tells in maintainability index, the overall maintainability one. The second one is cyclomatic complexity. Cyclomatic complexity in the sense, if your code is so complex, as I said, the others can't able to identify and understand it quickly, and also to manage that is more complex. If it is having too much of complex code, if you're having too much of inheritance or something, that would be more makes your method more complex, right? So in that way, those numbers, it will based on that complexity, it will gives you this number. This numbers also, if it is 1 to 10, if it is that is simple and there is no risk. If it is 11 to 20, it is a moderate risk. If it is 21 to 50, then that is a risky code. Definitely, the developer have to work on this. And if it is greater than 50, it is a very much high risk, and they have to work on it. We'll see. We found this method is having lot of complex code. This is having the high risk code. So we'll see what makes this method more complex. We want to navigate to this method. How can we do that? So you no need to go search here and do that manually. Instead of that, you can just double click here. So that will take you to this method here. Wherever it may be, it will take you here. We can see what makes this method more complex. You can see to make this method complex, I intentionally I made lot of conditions, lot of declarations, lot of loops also. So likewise, you can see the line of the method is lot more than 300 lines are there in this code, and also there may be a lot of conditions, for loops, initializations, list, lot of that, right? This makes makes this method more complex. So as per the C# standards, we should not have the method should have the simple condition. It should do only one particular thing. It's not like more conditions or something. So likewise, here I am just not following the C# standards. So it is saying that this is in a high risk. You wanted to rework on that. So the developer, I just know the reason for why it is coming, why these are why these are complexity. So I wanted to create this conditions with a separate method or something, and to reduce the complexity of this method. So as you can see, the line of this method is also it's more than 300. So all these things makes this method more complex. So that is why it is giving the high risk. So likewise, developer can identify the method which is more complex, and they can refix it. Okay, we'll see the depth of inheritance. Depth of inheritance that deals with like that describes the number of classes from the specified type inherits functionality. For an example, if one class is you have been inheriting a lot of classes, so that might be makes your project more complex, right? More number of inheritance makes more that creates more complexity. So that's what this task deals with, the depth of inheritance. If you were that comes into the idea of if there is more types exist in inheritance hierarchy, the code will be more difficult to maintain. That's why this comes into the picture. As you can see, if this number, it will be the base types are good. If it is 3 to 4, it is okay. If it is greater than 4, then it is critical. So in this method, I am not initializing any, I'm not using any inheritance. So it is not giving anything. As you can see here, it is 1, 2, and something. As far of now, these are all healthy. If it is greater than 4, then it is high risk. The developer have to work on this to remove those inheritance as well. So the next one is class coupling. The class coupling is a measure of how many dependency classes in a single class. If you have in a single class, if you're having too many dependency classes, then the class coupling happens, and that will gives you this numbers. If this numbers is 0 to 9, that is good. If it is 10 to 30 and 10 to 80, then it is okay. If it is greater than 30 or greater than 80, the dependency is very much critical. You have to rework on it. So that's what it comes under, the dependency that comes under this class coupling part. Here you can see the lines of source code. With this you can see the overall the total number of lines or in the method or a project or a for your namespaces or everything. As I shown you, right? So in this method I am having once again. So in this method I am having 397 lines, as I shown you, right? So this also makes us a less complex, right? To make manageable is, if you're having a lot of lines, managing this method is also more complex. You want to drag it straight away here and to find what and all is there. So that's what it has been dealing. It gives you the overall line of the code, and here it is lines of executable code. So in this 397 lines, which and all is a executable lines, that will comes here. Like there are 174 executable lines in this project, in this method, so it is here. So that is how you can find the overall health of this project or method or anything maybe. So here, as you can see here, the overall method health is like moderate only, so that it is come in yellow color triangle one. If it is like lesser than, if it is more critical, it will come with the red circle or something. So with that, we can understand how maintainable our project are, and we can make our project and code more maintainable and manageable with the help of this code metrics. As I said, we can do for the solution level also by clicking on the solution, right click on it, analyze code cleanup, calculate code cleanup. That will makes you able to. So this is some of the features. There are a lot more features that are available in Visual Studio 2019 as well as in Visual Studio Enterprise version. So we have come to the end of the session. Yeah, it's time to download Visual Studio Enterprise trial. and to get benefit with all the features that have been discussed today. And a lot more new features are also available in Visual Studio more than this. So get benefit with that. And it is most of the features that is available in enterprise version only. We'll quickly show you what are the features that you can use in enterprise. So here, if you can see, you can use live dependency validation, architecture validation, code clone, and everything. You can use it only in enterprise version, and others community or professional version it is not available. And also the same with IntelliTrace, code map, and other new features and testing tools. As we have discussed today, IntelliTest, unit testing, live unit testing, everything is available only in enterprise. And collaboration features, everything. So download Visual Studio trial now, enterprise trial, and get benefit with that. Yeah. Stay tuned. We are accelerating digital transform with GitHub webinar, and also some series of webinars also coming with more on GitHub, Azure DevOps, and Visual Studio. Okay, stay connected with us. You can get more information at www.ecanrace.com. And thanks a lot. If there is any feedback, you can give your valuable feedback to the feedback at ecanrace.com. Thank you all.